Welcome back to Flashpoint. Starting today, we will be interviewing all the Charlotte City Council at-large candidates. First up, a familiar face, former council member who's running once again, Lawana Mayfield. Lawana, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Morning to you. Listen, we're going to ask everybody the same first question, and then after that, the questions might differ a bit. If elected, in your case, re-elected to council, this time it would be an at-large seat. What is your number one priority?
Number one priority is our infrastructure growth. We are approving a lot of projects, even though a commission was created to look at how we're growing the city, when we still need to replace a lot of our infrastructure regarding our piping that is still over 150 years old in a lot of places. Some projects have been delayed because they don't have access for water. When they first started the project, they thought they would have access, and we're approving a lot of development and growth right now and not looking at the impact of a lot of our old infrastructure that needs to be updated.
I assume part of that is also in your mind transportation, because that's been a big ongoing issue. And I know specifically this next council, transit and transportation are going to be right up at the top of your priority lists.
Exactly. And a lot of people don't realize a lot of times on that very first meeting, when you're sworn in, you're approving some projects that you have no idea about. You're approving what previous council may have started without really understanding what that yes vote or that no vote may mean for our community long term.
You you were a district seat for I believe 8 years, was it? 8 years, yeah.
Yes, 8 years.
You ran a couple of years ago for at-large, and you barely didn't make it. What do you want to tell the people of Charlotte about? What did they get wrong a couple of years ago that you think that they have the chance to right now in a field of a lot of people?
In the field of a lot of people, what I'm thankful for is all of us are either incumbents or former electeds, meaning you can actually go back and look at our voting record. So you can see the work that I was able to get done even in a short 8 years as a district rep. And I'm not going to say they got anything wrong. You had choices. I'm just hoping that we make different choices this time around. And this time around, I'm elected to come back to bring back not only transparency and honesty to the process, but bring back a level of education of what it is to be an elected official, to actually work with developers and the community to move our city forward.
What do you say to folks who are like, you know what, Lawana, I remember seeing her a lot, and she was on the news. Yeah, she seemed, I saw her a lot at community events and activities and things. That's right. But you know what? I also remember, didn't she tweet some crazy things sometimes, some wild things? So what would you say to folks who may remember the controversial parts of Lawana Mayfield's terms, but maybe not some of the things you did in the community?
So I would challenge the idea of anyone saying that anything tweeted was crazy. Yes, I am a person that cares about my community, especially as an African-American female in our nation. We have seen a lot of civil unrest that a lot of us never thought we would see. We are addressing a lot of issues in our community economically, as well as when we look at the housing prices. So what I would ask is for people to actually look at my record and look at the work that I was able to get done. We have the CLT Plus app for people to be able to help identify problems as they're seeing them in their neighborhoods, because I brought that. We have the growth that we have with our Charlotte Premium Outlets, because that was one of the major projects. We're now having a conversation, finally, again, regarding the River District. And I put a lot of work into having in writing commitments regarding affordable housing, both single family as well as multifamily, and ensuring that minority businesses had the opportunity to be a part of the development of basically a new mini city within the city limits.
For folks, I do feel like I need to qualify what we're talking about. You once talked about conspiracy theories when it came to 9/11, and that was controversial.
I once shared a tweet. So one, we need to clarify if people actually read what I shared, or they took what unfortunately a lot of media that have pulled away from actual journalism for clickbait. What they said. I shared a question that was a part of an article. That's what I shared. Now, that was 8 years ago. Are you the same person you were 8 years ago? A lot of life has happened over these 8 years. No, I'm hoping others are not either. But I think there's a disconnect at times that elected officials, once you're elected in office, you don't have the opportunity to still be you and have individual thought or question.
I think that's perfectly
so
fine.
Today I recognize that for some people, what I said, no one reached out and actually had a conversation with me about what was actually shared. But when we look at the reality of everything that's going on into our community, what I'm recognizing is that people have an opportunity to look at the work. Was a mistake made? Yeah, a mistake was made. Am I going to take back what I shared regarding police brutality, especially in Black and brown community and in working poor, working class community? No, I will not, because that is something that is very real that is happening. And unfortunately, we had January 6th, and we have a lot of investigations happening now because of January 6th, which is a foundation of a conversation in our nation regarding white supremacy that we have to have, and we have to have it with honesty and with an open heart.
We have 1 minute left. I want to get you on the record. I will say on all those issues, you came on Flashpoint and you talked about those things, and we appreciated that, and it gave you a chance to further explain sort of your position on some of those things. I just wanted to.
You were the only, so that's what I do appreciate.
I just wanted to revisit. Final question. I'm going to ask all the candidates this: the best thing about Charlotte and the thing that drives you crazy about Charlotte. You've got about 30 seconds.
The best thing about Charlotte is our weather. What's driving me crazy is the lack of community involvement in how we grow our city. All
right, Lawana Mayfield, one-time city council member, might be one again, depending on how you at home decide coming up in the May primary. Lawana, thanks for coming on again. We always do appreciate it.
Thank you.